Hello friends, welcome to this channel. Today we'll discuss about one different problem statement with Kenny. Hi Kenny, how are you doing?
Hey Praful, it's an early morning here for me, and I woke up and I am excited to start the day with our session.
That's great. So today we'll come with a new problem statement and we'll explore 3 to 4 different solutions. Some are being simpler to difficult. So the problem statement is we have an array of strings. The string can be alphabets or it can be any words as well. So the string can be duplicated. Let's say, for example, we have an alphabets array. So A is repeated multiple times. So we want to get that number, A, how many times it appear. Like for example, in this case, A came 3 times and B is like 1 and so on. So how effectively we can achieve this problem, okay?
Got it, yeah.
So the input for our program would be the array of strings like alphabet. So this can be encapsulated or group into a function, but we won't dive into that aspect of it. We'll just try to simply discuss about how to solve it. So this can be definitely improved further as part of your programming assignment, like you can put it as a utility class or so on.
Sure, yeah.
So basically the first step, we have an alphabet, and if you can see that this contains duplicates, like A is multiple time, and our end goal is to get the count, how many times one particular letter or an word we can replace with a word as well that is repeated. So we'll create a temporary variable in the next case to create another array. This is an array which will contain only the unique letters from the above array. Okay. And to get this unique element, this also different people follow different approaches. So we'll create another video how we can create a duplicate unique set of elements. But as part of this discussion, we have approached a simple or newer syntax using a set. This is not very popular or commonly used, but for this kind of getting these unique elements nowadays, you can see in many examples, or if you see in the Stack Overflow, this solution people are preferably giving it.
Yeah.
So set is very common. It is common in Java, Python, and different programming languages as well. Like set by its standard means it can only, if whatever the value you can store, it won't throw an error, but it will have only the unique. You can't store a duplicate element.
Yeah, like the mathematical set, right?
Yes, yes. So if you put A 2 times, it will only put A only 1 time, and next entry it will ignore. But set is a special kind of data structure. It is not an array. It is an array like a data structure, but it is not exactly an array.
Okay.
So it contains different elements like A, B, C, D, but the representation of this set is a little bit different.
Okay.
That is the reason we are using a spread operator. This is also very newer syntax, and I love using it. So it will destructure. It will break the set which contains this individual block of element to a simple unique value of it. Like for example, our new set contain A, B, C, D. This 3 dot, what it will do, it will break that values into a individual values A, B, C, D. But one thing to remember, this won't again create an array. So this will just restructure a set of values to individual values. But we have to wrap inside a array syntax like square bracket if you want to get another array. So that's what we did here. So we got a unique alphabets which will contain array.
Got it.
Okay. So just to summarize, like alphabets, we have like our array, which is our input, which contain the letters or alphabets, which have unique values. And we got the unique alphabets, which contain only A, B, C, D, right? It doesn't contain any other information.
Yeah.
So basically the next step, what we're planning to do, we will take this unique alphabets and we'll loop through it. With the looping can be done in any number of ways. We can use traditional for loop using index I 0 and increment like the traditional for loop, or we can use for each loop or whatever maybe is comfortable to you. It really doesn't matter. And once we loop through that ABCD, then we'll take that individual element, then we'll again go to that, the before values, alphabets. And we'll try to see that how many occurrences are there. So we can either go and look through each or the thing and we can find it out. Okay. So basically we'll loop through that unique elements and we'll go to that original alphabets. Then we found the count, how many times A is available. And there are different ways to achieve that count as well. In this example, if you see, and also here, before we go to explain about how we derive to getting the count, let's explain about the map part of it.
Okay.
Kenny, do you want to talk about this map part a little bit?
Okay, yeah. So here what I'm seeing is we have our unique alphabets dot map. So what happens is we are trying to iterate through the unique alphabets array, which has 4 elements in our situation currently, which is A, B, C, and D. And what is there inside that map is essentially a function call. So we are providing it a function. And what will happen is that function will be executed 4 times in this case, because we have 4 elements in the unique alphabets array. And the function is taking 1 argument, and for each time the function is being run, we will be getting each value that is available in the array, right?
Yes.
So the first time it is being run, we will be getting A as the value for the variable that is alpha. Second time B, then subsequently up to D. And what is happening inside? Well, this might look a little funny, but essentially the syntax is a way to directly return a value. So like Praful, do you want to like elaborate on that?
Yes, sure, Kenny. So there are a couple of important aspects of the map. Like for example, the unique alphabets, if you do map right, whatever the how many elements the unique alphabet contains, in our case like 4, right? A, B, C, D, 4. And that output occurrence also contain the 4 array which contain the 4 values only. That is very important. So if the unique alphabets contain 4 elements, and occurrence may contain 4 elements.
Yeah.
And also important thing is to know that if unique alphabets contain an array of string, it doesn't really guarantee that occurrence also will contain like array of string only. So we can customize the behavior inside this block. So to return an object or an array or whatever maybe we like. But the occurrence length, if you calculate, it will only contain 4.
Yeah, so what you're saying is using this map, we are taking some input, and whatever we are writing in the map is kind of a transformation, like shifting it around or doing some processing, and we get 4 or as many elements in the output based on the input with the transformation done to those, right?
Yes, exactly, that is what map is. Exactly, we will do the transformation, and the transformation logic will put in as a fat arrow syntax. So here we can pass a normal function or fat arrow function. So this is the input. Input will take that individual element A, B, C, D 4 times into loop, and then an arrow. Here there is a little bit weird syntax. Here we start with this small bracket. Usually, if you see, most of the time the bracket will start with a curly bracket, any function.
Yeah.
But if you notice over here, it is started with a tiny small bracket, because here it is an implicit return. we have not specified the return explicitly. Implicitly means we just hide that return statement just to reduce that code in our code. We don't want to write return again return. So whatever we write like this curly bracket, so it will be written. Curly bracket stands for object. Not only the function declaration curly bracket, in JavaScript, this curly bracket also represent to return or describe an object, right?
Yeah.
So basically what we are trying to do inside this function, we want to return an object based upon its alpha. So here object is contain two values. One is key, another one is value. This is we customizedly given. So instead of key, you can give like alpha or alphabets and the count or whatever maybe you like to say. But to return a object from a function, if you want to do implicit, we have to wrap this with a small bracket.
Otherwise, a lot more you have to write, and then the syntax is. I think we will see that in the example, right?
Yeah, and most of the time, if I did this mistake most of the time till now, also I do the mistake. Then I suddenly remember the concept. So what I'll do, I'll try to forget about this tiny bracket and just write the simple curly bracket. Then it will return undefined, undefined, undefined.
Yeah, that happens.
I will show in this example how that will behave.
Yeah.
And also now we got this map part, right? Now the important part is getting the count. So we have unique alphabets. We process one value at a time. Then we have to go to the alphabets. And we have to count this, how many occurrences are there. So again, you can use a traditional way. You can do a for loop. So you can loop through these alphabets, and whenever you are getting a equal to there, so you can increment the count. So you can get the count values here. But in this our example, we have used a little bit different advanced syntax. So basically we are in like map, we are looping. There is no way that we can skip the looping of alphabets. We have to loop the alphabets each and every time. So if you see that here, it is not unique alphabets. It is the alphabet. It is the original array. And we are just looping through that. Filter also will do the loop. But it will return an array which can be a subset of the original array. It may contain this entire element, or it may contain a subset of the element.
Okay.
So it will loop alphabet. So we are just comparing the alphabet with the alpha. Means whichever the unique alphabet, let's say we're processing A. So this filter will loop through individual element A, B, C, D. So whenever it will encounter alpha, for our case A, for let's say A, it will loop through this A. Then it will encounter this unique element A. Then it will keep that values. But if it will get B next occurrence, then B doesn't match, it will skip it.
Okay.
So end of the day, this alphabet filter will return, an array which contain 3 elements. Like for example, this, it will contain A.
Yeah.
And because we are getting this dot length, it will return 3 for us.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, so similarly for B, it will return an array which contain only 1 element. And because we are doing this dot length, it will return 1. So that is the way we get this count for this unique alphabets array. Oh, got it?
Got it. Yeah.
And if you try to print this occurrence at the end, so it will contain an array, but it will be object key value. Key with the
same object that we defined, right?
Yeah, same object, we are returning it.
Okay.
Now let's see that example here. I already, copied the code here in this run.js. This is a run.js program, which will give, it is a very nice tool. I use, it is a free, I think, I'm not sure open source or not, but we can use it to see this code quickly. So first of all, this is alphabets array. And before we dive into this unique alphabets, let's try to print it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. See, it printed a sets. But if you see here, this is set also contain like A, B, C, D. But as I was talking about, this is not an array. This contain prototype and some kind of utility method like add. This kind of refer array-like structure. To do this, this is like destructuring we have to do. Like 3 dot, it will break into individual pieces. So it will get rid of all this set thing and, you know, like prototype, other thing. So we can definitely assign into a value, like number of way we can do that. I think this will be working. Oh, sorry. I can get rid of it. I think this is whether it will work or not, I'm not very sure. But this is not relevant to our exercise.
So
you got it?
Yeah, this destructuring syntax, it is just to get an array from the set that we are creating.
No, destructuring won't give an array. Destructuring will break that set into individual pieces.
Okay.
That is the important distinction we should make. See, this is not an array.
Okay. What is the type of that then?
I think we can see that what is the type of it. I'm not sure whether we can assign into directly as it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we can't assign into, see, it is complaining. That's what we're trying to do. Unexpected token. We can use combination with other, you know, structure, which can take the destructuring.
Have something. That destructuring syntax needs either an array or an object around it or something like that.
Yeah. Maybe we can take
one more. Okay,
it doesn't work well with the object. I think it will work well with the array.
Yeah, okay, just one quick question, like last week or the last video we were seeing that array.from, right? Does that work also here?
Yeah,
to get array from us. Yeah. Because there also we saw this destructuring and both seem to work similarly.
Array or arrays?
Array.
I think it will take directly this, not even destructuring. I think it will can take
just
the set.
new set. Yeah.
I'm thinking so.
Yeah.
Maybe if you destructure also, it's maybe working. No.
Okay.
B is not a function. So we can, instead of, if you want to create an array, so we can use array.from function as well.
Yeah.
So good learning for us also, like how the destructuring. Yeah. So basically we got this alphabets, unique alphabets. So if you see that, we already seen. So it contain, say, alphabets contain some duplicate elements. And unique alphabets contain array with unique elements, right?
Yeah.
Now here we are mapping it. If you see, if you want to know that how many times it is, here I'm not using this, here I'm using the normal bracket because I'm not directly returning it, okay?
Okay, yeah.
So it is a function because I just want to separately create a different variable so that we can print it and see that what's going on under the hood. But we'll just see at the end, like how we can use that implicit statement also. If you want to print this, console.log value.
Alpha, right?
Oh, not value. It is, I want to print the alpha. Yeah, as I said, this particular loop will run 4 times because we are looping in the unique alphabets, not these alphabets.
Yeah.
And this value is responsible for creating the count. So our alphabet, this is the original alphabet. We are filtering it based upon this letter, and we are getting a length properties out of it.
Praful, could you like show separately before the length?
Yeah.
Before taking the length.
Let me just remove this length. Yeah, like this.
Okay. Yeah.
So
each line is showing for each item in that unique alphabet array, right?
Yeah. So each console.log is printing an array with the only one alphabet. How many times it is present here? It is present A is 3 times, so it is showing 3 times.
Yeah.
Because we are only concerned about that length, so we just want to put the length.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is a simple object we are returning. Key is equal to the individual values. And this is the value. Instead of value, we can put this count as well.
Yeah.
And if you want to print it, key equal to A, count is 3 times, C equal to 2 times, D equal to 1, and so on.
Yeah. So that exact object structure we are getting back.
Yeah. If instead of count, we want to return this array. So here also we can directly return all the values. But it doesn't really make sense to return the same thing again and again.
Yeah, true.
Okay. And also we talk about this implicit thing. Copy value.
Yeah.
So this will also work. But if you get rid of this return, right, it will fail. But if you remove this this thing, it will work. I think it should work. Missing semicolon. Where it is semicolon? Okay. I'm not sure where it is semicolon.
No, I think it's complaining we don't have that small bracket.
But usually it doesn't complain. But anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. But usually it doesn't complain. I'm not sure why it is complaining. Sometimes it will return undefined like that. But anyway, if you don't want to specify this return here, and if you want to return this object, you can use this implicit return statement, short form. But you have to remember to put this tiny bracket.
Yeah. And also you'll have to tell your teammates that such a thing exists and this is what it needs.
Yeah. In the map, this is the most confusing. If you use a fed arrow, and this is the only confusing. If you understand this well, because if you try to return other, value, you don't need to use this curly bracket.
Yeah.
If you,
once you see it a few times, then you will understand, like, okay, this is what is happening.
If you want to return some number, so you don't need to use that curly bracket.
Okay, got it. Only for the object we are using.
Only for the object.
Specifically. Oh.
If you use it, doesn't break, but it is not needed.
That is because that same object syntax, like you were saying earlier, is used for the function block, right?
Yes.
That is why we need to mark it as here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we understood this part. Let us discuss about some different alternative available, which is following the same concept.
Okay.
Here we got the array like this. Let's see. Do you want to talk about this, Kenny?
You're giving me the hard part of that. So the reduce, the reduce is a little tricky here, or I often have to look it up again, in the documentation to understand, okay, what was happening here. I often forget the syntax, but yeah. So essentially, what is happening here is, for the reduce method, um, it is trying to take an array as an input, and it is trying to like compress it and like kind of give an output. So it's like a computed output, rather than reducing, or returning the entire array. It is like trying to give back a certain single value output. Like, I guess, for example, if you have a, say, a shopping cart or a shopping list, and you have the final price for each of the items, so you would have an item array with each of the items having a price. So in order to get the total output value, you could just use the reduce method to calculate and add up all the prices, as an example. So similarly, that is what is happening here. You
If
hopefully
you
want
see
to,
here, Kenny, one thing to interrupt.
yeah,
You don't in this approach, right? They've not used that unique alphabets. That array is not being used directly.
yeah,
They have using this, alphabets array and did all the calculation and getting that result.
Yeah.
So it may be a little bit performance is better because we are not unique and we are not doing multiple loops. In our previous approach, we have used several loops to calculate this point.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah,
may be performance-wise much better. It looks like, it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So this reduce essentially takes in one function as the first parameter and one value as the second parameter. So here, if we see, we have a function with two parameters called ACC and CHAR as the first argument to the reduce function. And the second argument is an empty object that we can see it at the end of that block. So yeah, so Propolis console of what we're getting in ACC and char. So the concept of reduce is that the first function has two arguments. The first argument is like a constant kind of a value that can reduce. The first time it will be given that empty parenthesis, that empty object, and subsequently whatever we are returning from that reduce method will be used as that same value. I don't know if I'm doing a good job at explaining it.
No, that is fine. Can I continue? It is a bit difficult topic. I can create some more tutorial to go through the reduce.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, this reduce is like, it's not that it will click in the first time. It will take
maybe
some
we
time
won't go into depth today.
Yeah.
So sure. We'll just a little bit skip through it because this is our second solution. We'll come again to explain more about detail.
Yeah. So yeah, here, yeah. So what we are having is we're coming to that if section. So what we're checking is, so does that accumulator object already have a value for that character, right? That is the first if that we're checking. So if so, what we're saying is we will take that existing value and increment it by 1.
Yeah, accumulator means, is it a previous value? It is a kind of an object which will contain all the previous values, right? Key value pair.
Yeah, it's like a shared object that is.
Yeah. So initially this is like previous value. This is a new entry.
The first time we don't have a previous value, that is, we are giving us that second argument. That
if you see in this character 1, so this character is the same as this particular entries, alphabets A, B, C, C, A, D, like that. Right?
Yeah.
And this guy is first initially it was empty, but later point of time A become 1, so it became 1. So then A become 1, there is no change. B become 1. At this point, it is C become 1, but here C came one more time, so C become 2 here. Then A
Yeah.
came twice, A become 2 here, and A came third, A become 3 here,
Yeah.
and so on. Like this is the final result. It came D as 1 also.
Yeah.
Because here this is returning, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think the confusing part in this is that in that first if statement does not make sense until you come to that else statement, because that else statement is what is initializing for each of the characters, right?
So you are
that
saying
is
that
giving
if we come with A as entry, so this should be empty. So this will be
Yes.
printing,
empty object there.
or maybe
Yeah.
we want to print like this. Before it is like this, it is better. After we do
Yes.
this if else condition, this make more sense, I think.
Yes.
So this
Yes, so
this
in it,
block will create this object, right?
yes. That is what is initializing the first value, because we need to start from 1 to get the count, right?
Yeah. So I think we're good. So this final result is again the looping. If you don't, this count is more than enough to query based upon A, B. But if you want to get the exactly same result what we have shown it in previous example, then you can do this loop and
Yeah, it's just converting from to that final key value. Yeah, the same
value
object.
thing.
Yeah.
And can we reduce this reduce part to a little bit further?
Yeah, for readability will be thrown out of the window, but but it's a good exercise.
So we can see some example. Here it is exactly doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So here this is the same reduce whatever we discussed, but we won't go into detail about it.
Yeah, it looks very crazy, but yeah, once you see it takes some time, even when I'm seeing this for the first time, I'm thinking through, okay, what is this? But
basically
because
this
I
is
have some idea.
Yeah, because this is like what happened. Like let me talk a little bit about it. If for the first entry, right, if it will be undefined. So what is this operator known as? Short circuit operator, I think.
Yeah.
Then it will be SN to A equal to 1. So this would be same thing. Like this will create an array.
The object.
Accumulator.
Right.
A is not this A. A is the accumulator. I think it is too much short form.
Yeah.
Accumulator. Let me see like this. Yeah. So initially, if there is undefined, so the entry will be 1. If you come as the next occurrence, it will just get that value. It won't be undefined. Then this is the plus sign. This editor is not showing properly, but this is a plus means it will increment the value and store it. If it is A is 1 is already there, it will make it true. Then so on. So this will return a combination of the alphabets and the number of count. Then object entries, because that is an array of object. What is this?
Yeah, I'm also not sure how
I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'm a bit lazy, so I'm using a very interesting variable name.
Are you sleepy also?
Console.log. Yeah. If you see that, so this is an object, array of object, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, it is not an array of object. It is a object itself.
Okay.
So this reduce method, because this is an object, right? Accumulator will return. It will reduce will return the final value. So like map, it will return a array. Like filter, it will return an array. So accumulator will create one variable, temporary variable, and you do all the calculation based upon that previous value and the new value, and it will create a one final result. And the final result is an object. So we can write our logic that it can be array also, but it will be only one variable. But for the simplicity, in our example, we have written an object, and this is a key value.
Yeah.
Right. Only it has key value pair. So if you do object.entries, so it will be
So it is converting to an array.
It will convert to an array. But if you see this A and 3, this will be D structure.
Okay.
Like inside an array, this should be the first index, this should be second index. It is mostly known as tuple or tuple in Python.
Got it. Yeah.
Tuple is a kind of special array which contain only 2 entries.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
So if you see that,
it's like an array of arrays, like a 2D array.
Yeah, 2-dimensional array. So it is a tuple. So you can access like the first element is key, second element is value.
Okay.
This will try to come up with some differently. Today, I think so many different concepts we are explaining, but I think for intermediate people, it may be helpful. But for beginner people, will come into more detail about like how the tuple work, how these object entries work,
Yeah. Because this is the first time I'm also seeing object.entries. I have not used it in my life.
And there is also, in we can use this loop also just to print this A values. These are the key. And if you want to print this value, right, like Z, this object structure which contain this key value, only one, because these are not individual object. If you see, this is not object. This object is containing key value. This is a normal object. And to loop through each key, we can use for in loop, but it is recommended to use entries. Do you know the difference?
No, I don't know.
Because this for in loop, right, there is a concept known as prototype. But if you see in the set, right, there is a prototype. Like I saw you like set, right?
Yeah, yes. It has more methods associated with it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so this is a proto chain. So this is also some key value pair. So for some kind of structure, if you use this for in loop, so for our simple case, it doesn't make difference. But for few simple data structure, or you can add as prototype also. We'll discuss more about prototype. It was a little bit advanced concept. So this for in loop will show all the prototype chain as well. But because we don't have any prototype, it doesn't showing. But if you have prototype, special kind of key value pair, it will show that. But object entries won't show the special kind of prototype chain key value pair.
Okay, got it. Is this why sometimes you use a has own property or some kind of a check?
Yes, exactly. So that is the exactly thing. If you use for in loop, so you use a has object, the different code you can write. But we'll discuss about more elaborately later. Okay.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay, I think we discussed about reduce. Now let's try to see the same thing in a little bit more simplified syntax. here we won't discuss too much about that, but this is the same alphabets array, and we are using reduce. But this is again a simplified list. This is the accumulator because it's T, and I don't recommend to use this kind of variable. Always use little bit bigger variable. It may be reduce the code for you, but it is not a recommended practice. Sorry.
Yeah, readability is an issue if you're giving like tiny variables.
Yeah, because you may feel like smart, but you are not actually smart.
True.
Yeah, but it will also do the same, exactly same thing if you declutter it. But anyway, I won't go into the more detail about that. This is also using a different approach.
Okay. Now it has map instead of set.
Yeah, map will contain key value pair. I don't think it will contain. Yeah, it will contain also unique thing. Oh, what happened? It doesn't store here.
Only after that.
It is initialized empty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is all the new data structure can be used very interesting way. See here, A contain 3, B contain 1, and so on. So it loops alphabets for individual element. It using set. This set is not that set. That set is that set is containing a data structure unit. This is like get set.
You're setting a value into the map, right?
Yeah. But it will loop through all the unique elements as well.
It loops through all the elements, right?
Yeah. So it's trying to get it. If it is present, then it will return a value.
Yeah.
But if it is a fast time, it will return undefined.
Yeah.
Because fast time A doesn't contain any value, right? So it will return undefined. Then you are using short circuit operator. Means if it is undefined, then treat this as a 0.
0, yeah.
Then increment with 1. That means A contain 1.
Yeah.
The second occurrence B, it's so on. Like if you go to second time A, then it will get a value 1, increment it to 1 plus 1, 2, and so on. That's why this map will come.
Got it.
And this map also is special kind of structure. To convert to a array kind of structure, you have to do, there are some different methods like entries.
Okay.
If you want to see this entries, how it looks like.
Yeah. I think that is similar to that.
See, again, last time also we have seen that. It is a kind of iterable.
Okay.
But it is a kind of, we can use this all traditional, loops like map for each, but it is not like visible.
Yeah.
But I have some notes for other discussing about more elaborately on this. Like we'll discover about the subtlety about all this thing. Because if you try to explain everything, it will be very lengthy video.
Yeah.
But the idea is that get all the key value pair is entries here and convert it to array. See, if iterable, if you convert to array, then it is same thing. Let's
Giving the
print
values.
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it convert to that tuple. Array of tuples. Same thing.
Same as the previous one.
Yeah. Then you loop it and get key value pair, and so that whatever you like to
converting to an object. Yeah.
So here it is used very interesting way. Not written the key value pair. That also I want to touch upon. If you can see, because the name and he intelligently used this as a key and value, so that he don't need to give this key colon and key and value colon come.
Yeah.
This
that
is
also is confusing
syntax.
the first time. First time it is confusing, but then you get it and then, well, it's perfect.
Yes. So just to summarize, we'll discuss about a little bit. So our objective was to give an input as array with some alphabets. and we need to get the count of it. So there are different ways we discovered. Maybe this is a beginner approach. You can use like a temporary unique alphabets, which is a unique elements, and look through it to get the count and do that. And further, we have discussed about reduce. But if you've not understood about the reduce approach, please let us know in comment below so that we can demystify it more elaborately. With this time, little bit, we explain a little bit more detail in this approach, but not that one. Okay. So, any comment, Kenny?
No, I think, yeah, this looking at it, all of these pieces of code, initially I feel, okay, this is the simplest thing to read and understand. But once you come to it, like, once you look at the different options, each of them have its own like differences in terms of readability and also in terms of performance probably. But end of the day, we should pick whatever works for us, but we should just know that, okay, these other ways are also existing, so that if we see this somewhere else in some code base, we won't be like, okay, what is happening? Right. So that is the.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, friends. Have a good day ahead. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.